What's up, babes? Welcome back to She Shed Shit Talk, where the tea is hot and the healing is unhinged. I'm Danny, and this week, we're going there. You ever think you found your person, like your person, and then life says, LOL, try again? Yeah, same. Today's episode is all about heartbreak. Not the rom-com kind, the real kind. The gut punch, crying on the bathroom floor, questioning your worth kind. I'm opening up about my own story, the one I haven't really told. Well, that's a lie. Some of my listeners have heard all about it. The breakup that broke me, what I learned, how I coped, and how I'm still healing. No filters, no shame, just truth. So grab your beverage of choice, your weighted blanket, and maybe a tissue or two, because we're about to talk some real shit. So let's rewind a bit. I was in a place where I really thought I had it all figured out. The love, the future, the forever. But what no one warns you about is how quiet the beginning of the end sounds. How you start to accept less because you're afraid to lose anything at all. And then one day, you're sitting in the middle of a heartbreak that you didn't choose, but maybe deep down, you knew it was coming. So here's what happened. Here's what I didn't say out loud until now. My ex and I started dating when I was about 19 years old, after I went through a high school heartbreak that I thought then was the worst heartbreak of my life, which honestly, your first love, of course, it's going to be very hard. But this heartbreak that I went through with my recent ex, totally different, totally gut punch, like didn't see it coming at all. We dated for about 8 years, and to say that everything was smooth sailing the whole time is definitely a lie. You know, every couple goes through ups and downs, and every relationship, they go through their struggles. But there were a lot of red flags, I guess, that I ignored with my ex. And to say that I'm perfect is far, far from the truth. I also made mistakes in our relationship. And, you know, I don't want to say that that was part of the reason why we broke up, but we definitely didn't make it easy for each other. After about 6 years of dating and what I thought was a really serious relationship, we ended up getting engaged, and I was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life. The relationship for the 2 years after our engagement was great. We were planning a wedding. Everything was honestly pretty much planned. And then I found some things on his phone, which wasn't great and ended up turning into the reason why we broke up. I did have trust issues, and that really didn't help the relationship at all. But honestly, you shouldn't be with someone who makes you feel like you need to worry about where they're going, who they're talking to, what they're doing when you're not home, what they're doing when they're at work, who they're texting, why they're hiding their phone, why after you eat family dinner with them and your parents, they go to the bathroom for at least 45 minutes and don't come out. And you know it's not your mom's cooking because your mom cooks pretty good food. And yeah, to not even hear a flush from the bathroom and for them to come out as if nothing happened, yeah, it's a little fishy. So for any of his friends who are listening to my podcast, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're probably going to go tell him, but this is really what happened, because honestly, I don't know what he's going around telling people. Back in September of 2023, he was acting a little weird, a little fishy about things, hiding his phone, until one day I snatched his phone out of his hand like a toxic person would. But honestly, I felt like I needed to do that. And maybe it was the wrong thing to do, but I did it, ran into the other room, locked myself in there, and went into his deleted messages. I had a feeling that he was talking to this woman from work the whole summer, which he told me I didn't need to worry about. And honestly, when someone tells you that, girl, you need to worry. All right. Like anyone who says, oh, babe, don't worry about that person. It's nothing. You have nothing to worry about. That's a lie. So, anyways, he chased me, couldn't get in the room because I locked it. I went through his phone, saw these messages from this girl after he went out after work with his coworkers for an end of the summer outing or whatever. They went to a bar, and he wasn't answering my text messages the whole night. I was looking at his location, seeing where he was going. When he finally told me he was coming home, he didn't. And I ended up calling him. I knew something was up. I knew that he was doing something behind my back. And I just wanted to get down to the bottom of it because honestly, for a few years before that, I started to feel like I had to question what he was doing. And I see now that that was probably a red flag, and I should have listened to my gut before I even planned a whole wedding with him, and before my parents spent thousands of dollars on a venue and on a wedding that they're not going to get back. But, anyways, I saw these text messages, opened the door, handed his phone back to him, and he started panicking. Babe, what's going on? What happened? And me, I acted calm. I acted, everything's fine. I'm just going to go home. I don't want to be here. I have to go home. No. What's going on? Please tell me. What did I do? So I said, why don't you look at your messages? Why don't you look at who you were texting? You didn't think I was going to find them, did you? Oh my God, I don't even know how you found those text messages. Not even a I'm sorry first. All it was, I don't know how you found those. But how crazy is that? That's your first reaction, telling me that you don't even know how I found your text messages? I'm not stupid. I'm not an idiot. I know how to find deleted messages. And the fact that you actually deleted the messages is crazy. You could have just told me. You could have came out and been honest with me, but you didn't. And, of course I was going to have trust issues with you. Of course I was going to feel the way that I felt. I ended up staying with him, and we proceeded to go through our engagement process and our wedding planning still. We were going to get married in a Catholic church, and if some of you aren't familiar with that, you have to do pre-cana, which is like a pre-marriage counseling thing where you sit with other married couples or other couples that are going to get married, and either a deacon or someone from the church and other Catholic couples talk to you about what marriage is all about, faithfulness, and all this stuff. And during that, they had us face each other and they had us say fake vows to each other. And seeing everybody else that was there, you know, so in love and looking into each other's eyes, making this promise to each other, smiling, laughing, and even shedding a tear about it because they were so moved and it was such a beautiful moment. And I looked into my ex's eyes and they were dark. I saw nothing there. I saw no feeling. I felt no love from him. And right then and there, I knew something was up. That happened on June 8th, I think it was, of 2024. It was a Saturday or a Sunday. I'm pretty sure it was a Saturday. And anyways, after the whole vow thing, we took a break for lunch, went outside, and we talked about a lot of stuff. And, they told all the couples to go and speak with each other privately and talk about what we just went through. And so we sat down and I told him, I still don't trust you. I'm really trying to trust you after everything that happened, but it's really hard for me to do that. And he turns to me and he goes, well, I don't know how we're going to get married if you don't trust me. And I said to him, listen, eventually I will trust you, but you have to give me some time. It's very hard for me to get over this. And then I started questioning myself. Am I too ugly? Am I too fat? Am I not good enough for him in bed? Am I not doing it for him? I don't understand why he had to go and look for this in someone else. So anyway, let's fast forward 2 or 3 days. Within those 2 and 3 days, he wasn't texting me, wasn't calling me like he usually does. The text messages that he did send were short, one-word answers, and I just knew something was up. So, let's say the Wednesday after we had our pre-cana, I texted him, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to come over after work. We'll talk and, figure this thing out. So he comes over after work, and I just knew I had this feeling in my stomach that this was it. He was going to break up with me. So he comes inside the house and we sit down at the kitchen table. And let me just add this. He waited until my parents weren't home. They were away on vacation together. So I was home alone when this happened. He sat me down at the kitchen table and goes, I'm really sorry. I tried, but I'm just not happy and I can't do this anymore. I can't be in this relationship anymore. I can't go through with this engagement. I can't go through with this wedding. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to me. And I'm really sorry. I can't do this. And he's crying at this point. I'm crying. I'm begging him, which I will never, ever do ever again in my life. I will never beg someone to love me, because if you have to beg someone to love you and to cherish you, they're not the one. Anyways, we're both there crying. And I take the ring off. I hand it back to him. And I go, well, if this is really what you want, then I'm going to respect that. And I did. We gave each other a hug. I said, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe you're doing this to me. But he said goodbye to our dogs that we have together, or had together, and he left. He walked out the door and never turned back. I was expecting him to stop the car, to come back and apologize and say he was sorry and say that he messed up, but that's not what happened. In that moment, I literally felt like my breath was taken away from me. I felt like my heart was ripped out of my chest. I felt like throwing up. I felt like crying. I felt like I don't even know what I wanted to do in that moment. All I know is that I just wanted my parents home. I wanted to talk to them. I wanted to tell them what happened. And honestly, the first person I called was my best friend. And I told her everything. And I'm pretty sure she wanted to kill him in that moment, as any best friend would. And honestly, in that moment, I didn't think that that was going to be the best thing that ever happened to me, but it was. It was the best thing. And it was a blessing in disguise that I didn't see at the moment. But when I tell you, I'm so grateful that that happened, that we didn't go through that marriage or that wedding, because life would have been a lot different for me than it is right now. The healing process wasn't easy. It's not linear. It's ups and downs of you hate this person, you love them, you want them back, you never want to see them again. And when I tell you that you go through the stages of grief, oh my God, it is not easy. You feel that anger, you feel that denial, you feel that bargaining of, oh my God, if I would have just done this, maybe we wouldn't have broken up. Or if I was a little bit thinner or prettier, maybe he would have wanted me more. Maybe he wouldn't have went to look for a sexual desire in someone else. And honestly, don't ever think that way of yourself. Don't ever put yourself down like that, because you are worth more than you know. And you should never feel like you need to be better for somebody, because you are the best for yourself. And whoever is going to love you is going to love you for anything and everything that has to do with you. You shouldn't have to change yourself for somebody. And it took me a little bit to realize that. It took me, I want to say maybe like 5 or 6 months to realize that. And when I tell you that I would wake up every night hysterically crying, and my mom, you know, she was there for me. She really comforted me. My dad wanted to kill him. But yeah, what my parents and what my best friends saw me go through, and my coworkers, oh my God, they were there for me. When I tell you they are more than just coworkers for me now, they're family, because they really, really pulled me out of a deep, dark hole that I was in after my breakup. And when people tell you, you know, it's okay, it's a blessing in disguise, you don't want to hear that. But I promise you, even when you think that this is the end and you're never going to find love again, it will get better. So that gut punch, rip your heart out, pit in your stomach feeling that you have right after a breakup, It will go away. You will find yourself again. You will find your happiness. No one is worth those tears. No one is worth any of that. Take your happiness back and be the woman that you know you can be. You're strong and you're worth more than what your ex made you feel. After a few months of going through my breakup and finally being happy again and seeing the light and really coming out of that dark tunnel that you really feel that you're in, I started to date again. And I went on dates with a few people, and yeah, it was great. Like I had a great time getting to know different people, especially because I had only been with this one guy for 8 years, and I never really dated around like that. It was something new to me. I was scared. I was really scared to put myself out there, but honestly, it's probably one of the best things that I could have done because you meet other people. You see how other people are. You see how other people treat you, how other men treat you, how other women treat you. And honestly, I found myself. I found who I really wanted to be with. I found my happiness with myself, but then also finding happiness with someone else. But you really just want to make sure that you can be happy on your own before you start dating anybody else. So, like I mentioned, my whole breakup happened in June of 2024. And then around October of 2024, I got a text message from this girl that I used to date in high school. And she was my first love, as I mentioned earlier in this episode. And I wasn't expecting anything at all. I didn't expect her to text me. But when I tell you, it was the craziest thing. I answered her. I was like, hey, yeah, I know we haven't spoken in a while, but thanks for reaching out. How have you been? Catching up with her, all that. I'm like, let's go out for a drink. Not thinking anything of it. I was like, all right, we'll catch up and see where this goes. I wasn't thinking that it was going to turn into anything, but it definitely turned into something. That night when we went out to the bar, we shared a bucket of beers and shared our trauma with our exes. She told me all about her relationship that she was in, that she had broken up with her ex, and told me all the toxic things that she did or her ex did, and how she wasn't happy, and how she finally got, got out of it and got through her breakup. And I explained everything that happened to me too. And honestly, we were both like, yeah, our exes are idiots and they should probably be with each other because they're both toxic as fuck. Anyways, fast forward a couple more months and her and I officially started dating again. And when I tell you the relationship that we had in high school is nothing compared to what we have now. And we're engaged, as some of my viewers or listeners know. Um, we're engaged now. We're getting married next year. And I am the happiest I've ever been. This is the most healthy relationship I've ever been in. And I can't believe that we actually found our way back to each other. And I am so grateful for that. I love her and I love the relationship, the life that we've built together. And even though some people aren't really too happy about it, some people aren't accepting of it, that's okay because I'm happy, she's happy, and that's really all that matters. We have her family that supports us and our friends that support us. And, I will get more into our wedding planning and all of that in the next episode or in an upcoming episode. But if you are going through a breakup right now, or if you ever had to pick up the pieces of something you thought was unbreakable, I see you. I am you. I know there are so many women out there that can relate to this, can relate to the heartbreak that they've gone through. And I promise you, it does get better. And just a reminder, your healing does not have to be graceful. It just has to be yours. So thank you for letting me share my truth today. If this hit you in the feels, DM me, share with someone who needs it, and leave a review so more women can find their way to the shed. We'll be back next week. And yes, the shit will still be real. This has been She Shed Shit Talk, where the tea is hot and the healing is honest. Thank you for coming to my shed talk. Good night, everyone.